Okay. All right. Welcome to Comedically Correct.
I'm Corey Evans.
And I'm Andrew Holiday. And this is probably the best we're going to do.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I thought we
Okay.
did a good job.
I think it was as near perfect as it could be. So, today's episode, we got a lot of news to go over. We have another Dear Andy segment. And I think that we should start with yesterday was the 4th of July, or two
or 3 days ago.
It was a few days ago. They've been kind of melting together for me.
Yeah, and this is a news article we knew we were gonna get a week ago. I mean, before the 4th of July, you're gonna see something about fireworks exploding when they are not supposed to. That's just an American tradition.
Yeah.
So this one is special because the people who did it were the Los Angeles Police Department. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that one is special. The title is 17 Hurt in Huge Blast During LAPD Detonation of Explosive Devices. And that sounds scarier. What they don't say is most of them are fireworks.
Yeah. So LA, in obviously not the spirit of fun, confiscated, I think, something like almost $100,000 worth of fireworks. And then they're like, well, let's just blow them all up all at once in the back of this big truck that we have for explosives. And then like everybody's like, that's awesome. Can we watch? And they're like, no, we're not going to make this fun at all. And then they just accidentally made it awesome.
Yeah, it's yeah, my favorite part of this article is they show the truck that they exploded in, and the truck's fucked. The truck it's destroyed. And there was something that said, I wish I could find it. Hold on. A truck that was being used to collect the explosives also appeared to be severely damaged. I just thought it was funny they said appeared because it is clearly like the side of it is off. So
it appears to be less than half of what it was. So slightly damaged.
Just a little bit damaged. And there's just like the pictures are great. Like there's just firefighters standing around like, what the fuck did they do? It's so funny. Well, it's funny because the police department took these explosives because they were like, it is dangerous for y'all to have them. Let's blow up a truck.
Do you realize what could happen with these? Anything could happen. Now let's blow up our like $10 million truck for explosives. And the sad part is they did it on purpose and they know exactly what happened, but they're like, we're still gonna have to investigate this. Like, yeah, that's their go-to response for everything. Like sometimes like we'll have a video of everything that happened, and they're like, yeah, it's gonna be we're investigating the situation right now.
It's like, yeah, anyone who watches the video can be like, well, what happened is y'all blew up the truck.
Yeah, don't. Like the news reporter that was there had the whole thing figured out. They're like, you confiscated a bunch of fireworks, you decided to blow them up, and then blew up the truck. Like A, B, C, we have it figured out. We got this. And they're like, we're going to be investigating this situation.
Well, I think it is, and we've said this, but I just want to reiterate: the truck is made to blow stuff up inside of it.
Yeah.
So I think what they are investigating is why did this truck, whose job is to have stuff blown up inside of it, get broken when we blew stuff up inside of it? I'm giving them a little bit of leeway.
I think that what that tells you is fireworks are dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's every year you see, I think, wasn't there one in Odessa this year, a fireworks stand caught on fire?
Maybe.
I saw it on Facebook and someone said in West Odessa, but I couldn't figure out if it really happened in Odessa. Because, some people will take something that happened in Kansas and just say Odessa firework.
Oh, yeah, for like your like clickbait stuff.
Yeah,
yeah, that happens to me sometimes too. I actually just got an article about somebody stole a food truck in Odessa, and I was like, that's Odessa. That's on brand for us.
Yeah, no, I don't see anything about that happening in Odessa. So someone just changed the place, but it is like every year you just see those because they have those little metal containers that they sell out of. I
Yeah.
always feel bad for the people selling. It looks hot as hell, but they're just selling. And then every year someone, but I don't know how. Like I don't know how. The only rule is do not light anything in here. Like there should be zero fires in here. How do you like who's like, well, I'm just gonna smoke a cigarette real quick, and they blow up every year. Every year it
Yeah.
happens at least once.
There was a meme that I saw not too long ago, which was like a guy literally smoking next to a danger explosives and a bunch of fireworks behind him. Just like I don't
It's,
fear death. I suck on death.
that's just it's just people are stupid. You can't fix stupid. There's how big is America? Like we have like 360 million people,
Yeah.
and like 10% of people are idiots. At least 10% of people are idiots. So yeah, we're gonna blow something up every 4th of July.
Yeah, well, like, and then there's certain places where I think the ratio goes up a little bit higher, like Florida, Odessa, some places where you just throw a rock and you're like, I'm gonna hit 2 idiots.
I'm gonna hit an idiot. It's gonna bounce off one idiot's head, hit another idiot.
Yeah,
No
and then
problem.
a third idiot's gonna pick up and throw it at his mom. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is just not surprising. Every year, I did see the meme that was like, it was like tons of Americans are going to sleep tonight, not realizing this will be their last day with all 10 fingers. Because someone always blows their finger off with fireworks. And
Dude, actually, when I was a kid, a dude blew his thumb off at like a area that I was at. I remember like seeing like an ambulance come onto the park that we were at. Like a dude blew off his finger, and like we were like, what happened? Like it was like a big crowd of people and stuff like that at this Webster Lake near my house, and a dude blew off his thumb, and like the ambulance was like strolling through big crowds of people and stuff, and I was like, what the hell? But yeah, dude blew off his thumb at a place I was at when I was a kid.
I bet any city over 100,000 people, like someone blows off a finger every year. Like I bet it's very common.
Oh yeah. See, here's the thing is like I love fireworks, but I'm always pretty safe about them. Like I'm like, I know these are dangerous. Let me tell you what my uncle did one year. So we were at the beach in Mexico, and we bought these big old bottle rockets, and we were sticking them in the sand and lighting them and shooting them up. And then my idiot uncle, like he goes over there and he puts it in the sand barely.
Uh-huh.
And then the second it lit, like the thing was like a slight breeze was like, and it's just like pointing right at us. And then all of us just like hauled ass, and it went and hit a wall, luckily. But went and hit a wall and exploded, and we all felt it.
You know what? I'm talking shit about idiots. I'm gonna admit my stupid 4th of July thing I did this year. Hopefully my parents don't listen because they'd be so mad. Is we were at the lake and I was up on the top deck, and I decided I was gonna light 2. What are they called? They're the long sticks, and they like poof poof Roman candles. 2 Roman candles at the same time, and I held them. But the thing is, usually I hold one and I count, and once it hits 5, I double check, make sure it doesn't have a 6th one on accident. But I did not do that, and I had 2, and I lost count of 1, and then I just turned around and just shot it right into my parents' boat dock. So, like, nothing bad happened. But I guess if I'm going to be calling people idiots, I will admit that I am also an idiot. So,
yeah, like how long? Like there's a lot of stories where I'm gonna be like, freaking idiots. People are stupid. I did that once. I just got away with it.
yeah.
Nobody wrote a story about it afterwards.
Yeah, no fingers were lost, but
Yeah.
But that's also like I should have been more careful. That's the other thing is kind of I guess I've been the firework guy for the last 3 or 4 years for my family. And so now I'm too comfortable. And I think there is something that gets dangerous when you get too comfortable. And I'm like, I do this all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I have a couple more fireworks stories. I just don't know what the statute of limitations are for arson. So I don't want to tell them right now.
You catch shit on fire?
I caught, okay, we'll just say that I caught a hypothetically, maybe. And I'm not going to tell you what state, what year. I may have caught a piece of public property on fire with my friends.
And they frown on that. People frown on that.
Yeah. And At the time, we were actually trying to catch. We found this like little saucer, and we took gasoline from one of our lawnmowers, and we were trying to shoot Roman candles at the saucer of gasoline. We didn't come close to hitting the gasoline, and then long story short, my mom's not in here right now.
Okay.
Long story short, just some rogue thing hit this like little like pile of leaves, and like we didn't think anything of it because we're like, oh, that went out right away, and then we just like a few minutes later just see it like all.
Oh, fun.
Like, that's not good.
Hypothetically,
Hypothetically,
this
maybe this is all hypothetically.
This is a short story that Andrew is writing, hoping to get published in the New Yorker. So
yes, and it may have been in Mexico, to be honest.
Yeah,
where nothing's illegal.
Nothing's illegal in Mexico. Well, lots of stuff is illegal in Mexico, but they don't care. Yeah. They don't like a lot of the cops are on the payroll, I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, like when we got pulled over by a cop, and like when the cop found out that we didn't speak English, he just like wanted money. He didn't care. He didn't care.
Oh yeah, that was something. When we used to go to Mexico, they'd say you need to keep like $10-15 in your wallet and keep the rest of it in your shoe, because basically a lot of the times you'll get pulled over in Mexico and they'll be like, you were doing this, and they'll be like, how much money do you have? And you'll be like, $25. I'll be like, well, the fine for it is $25. And they'll just like, whatever money you have. So you hide most of your money, but you make sure you have something.
Oh yeah, because like whatever you have, that's
the fine. Yeah.
Yeah. That happened to us. So,
yeah.
That's not something that's rare. That's happened to multiple family members of mine too.
I'm gonna move on to the next story, which I really this is the most confusing article I've ever read, because the title of the article is Jamie Lynn Spears disables comments to pantless injury photos. Yeah. And so basically what happened is Jamie Lynn Spears, little sister of Britney Spears, hurt her finger. This is what anything can be news now. She hurt her finger, and then she took a picture of herself on Instagram and basically said, I hurt my finger, but this is a good place to take pictures. And the picture is just her in a t-shirt. It's not sexual in any way. Like, it's not like you're seeing things. Yeah. But it's clear like she's just wearing a longer t-shirt, and she disabled comments on it so people couldn't comment weird stuff. And that was the news article.
Yeah. And I think that's me. I think that's on me.
No. But here is the funny thing about the news article is that's the news article. And then like very quickly underneath the news article, it's like, and by the way, her kids have been getting death threats because she said she supported her sister. And I was like, nope, that's your news article. Like what? Yeah.
There's a lot of like actually really interesting stuff going on with conservatorships and her sister. And they're like, well, here's Jamie Lynn Spears, her less popular younger sister, and a picture with no pants. And I think that the reason that they disabled comments was me personally, because I make a lot of weird comments about girls with no pants. I'm that guy on the internet.
Don't be that guy.
I'm that guy. No. One of my jokes is I didn't realize how creepy men were until I pretended to be a woman on the internet.
Did you pretend to be a woman on the internet?
No, actually I didn't, but I curate a page that people think I'm a woman on it. And I get so many weird posts. And like usually I ignore them, but every now and then I'll engage. And I was like, dang, dude, like us men, man. Like sometimes I feel bad.
Excuse me. It's weird how many men will like completely be like, I want to fuck you. And it's like, you haven't seen me. Like, you don't even know that I'm a man. You just assumed I was a woman. And I guess anything with a vagina is free game for you.
Yeah. Well, first off, like, I don't know what's the ratio of that ever working? Like, it has to, does it ever work? Ladies that are watching right now, has that ever worked where like somebody just sends you an unsolicited dick pic and you're like, tell me more?
I mean, I have to assume the success ratio is about that of winning the lottery. It has to be like under 0.1% of the time it works.
Yeah.
But I did have a friend who was very much enjoyed sex, and I was talking about this, and she was like, if the dick looked good, it might work. So I'm not saying the friend's name because Jesus.
No, but I mean, like, let me know later.
Well, I think she might be married now.
Oh, so. Okay. Well, like, tell me the guy's name too. I mean, like, I'm in for anything.
Oh, you're gonna be the third. You're gonna be the third wheel there.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do they call it? The Devil's Three-Way?
Yeah, Devil's Three-Way. Well, there's also like some dudes who are just into watching their wives have sex with other men.
I've heard about that. Let me tell you a weird story from my youth one day.
Okay.
There was I went to a strip club as a social experiment for my brother. I was supposed to jot down numbers or like my feelings at the strip club when I was like at a strip club by myself. And it wasn't like a bad time, like, like at least people like talk to you and stuff. And this dude like legit offered, and I was like younger and slightly better looking back then. This dude legit offered me money to have sex with a different girl and that he could watch.
You turned it down?
No, yeah, of course I did.
Well, no, don't say of course I did.
Like, yeah, no, like I'm not like I look and pretend to be super confident some of the time, but I am not that. Like, I'm not somebody that can, like, I need very special circumstances for me to feel safe enough to be naked.
See, I think the money part would throw me off more than you watching me part. Not saying I would do either, but it's kind of like when I first got into comedy, I didn't like charging for comedy because I was like, I don't think I'm super good at it yet, so I don't want people to pay money. And I think I'd be like,
have been disappointing. I was like, you're not getting any bang for your buck, literally.
Like, what are you going to pay me? $100? You're going to pay me $100? That means you're going to be paying $20 a minute, sir. Like,
yeah, that's... and also he was gonna. I'm pretty sure that he was gonna pay the girl more, and I don't want to live in that world.
No, that's the world you should live in. You should have done it for feminism. The fact that you just refused, that makes you sexist. You should have. I would do it for feminism. I would say because she deserves to get paid more than I do.
As a well-documented chauvinist, I was like, no, this is ridiculous.
Actually, Andrew was on board with it. He was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Absolutely. And he was like, she's going to get paid more. And he's like, women deserve 78 cents on the dollar or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, if I don't get paid an extra 22% at least, and that's just signing costs.
I do think porn is one of those ones. I have to imagine girls make more money in porn than guys.
There's a couple of industries where like I think girls do make more money than guys. But yeah, I think porn is one of them. Like, that's horrible to tell a young woman though. Like,
yeah, well, I think I don't know, but I would guess that almost all the industries where girls make more money than guys have some kind of sexual air to them. Like, I would guess it's like porn and modeling.
Yeah,
I can't think of any others.
I know I was a waiter for years, and I was a good waiter for years.
Okay.
And I dated a few Hooter waitresses, and their tips were like, my tips were nothing in comparison to the shit that they got on an average night.
But once again, there's a sexual element to that, to where like a model, a Hooter waitress, a porn, like the woman is making more, but it has to do with her sexually, like sexuality. And so, which is still fucked up. Like, ugly dudes can do fine, Yeah. Like, in like a lot of businesses, I feel like there's some very ugly rich dudes. Like, I feel like most rich women look like I just think being ugly as a woman is harder than being ugly as a man. This is going to get very dicey for me. I feel like people are going to be like, you're a piece of shit. But okay, I think women are
this is true. I don't think this should be true. I don't either.
True. Well, I think because we teach women that their value comes from their looks, and we teach men that their values come from other things that are not their looks. And like, not even like bad people, but it's like your grandpa. Like, someone's grandpa, when they see their grandson, like, or when they see their granddaughter, what are they going to say to be nice to their granddaughter? They're going to go like, oh, you're so pretty, you're so cute,
You're my beautiful little princess, right?
yeah. And then like, what are you going to say to the dude to make him feel like he's awesome? Is you're going to be like, shake my hand, oh my god, you're so strong. And so I understand what I'm saying sounds terrible, but I do think it's because consistently women's looks have been given a lot more value than anything else. I'm just trying to dig myself out of the hole. I'll make an apology video.
Well,
shit.
A joke, because I have 2 nieces that I love. I adore my 2 nieces, but like my first niece, Aaliyah, sharp as a tack, so smart. Like even like as a baby, I was like, this kid's smart. Like you could just see her like trying to size people up with her eyes, like when even before she could talk. But like even now, like she's the top of her class, and like she's like 6 or whatever. And Sophie, like, and I love Sophie. Sophie's great, but we're just hoping she turns out pretty. Like, and I was like, I cannot stress to you the importance of that, because she's great. She's fun. She's friendly. She cries a lot, like a little too much, but other than that.
How old is she?
She is 4.
She's allowed to cry. She can cry. She's 4.
Her sister like never cried. Like her sister like almost never threw temper tantrums. And then like Sophie will just be sad. She'll wake up sad, and she's like, everybody else needs to be sad right now.
Yeah, I just don't. You're judging your 4-year-old niece a little too harshly on the crying. I cry once a day at least.
Well, see, yeah, but like we have real problems. Her problem was like I wanted waffles and I got pancakes.
Yeah, it is like I think the 25. What did they say for your brain to fully develop? It's 25, right?
Yeah.
I think that's such an important age, because even after 4, it's like when I was 22 and a girl would break up with me, it'd be like the world is over. Yeah. There is no world anymore. And now it's like I'm dating someone who I love more than anyone I've ever dated. But if she broke up with me, I'd be sad, but I wouldn't be like, well, the world has ended. I'd be like, yeah, people break up. It happens. Yeah. I don't know. I've been hanging out with 21-year-olds. Guys, I'm not trying to.
Not 21-year-olds. Like it sounds scandalous when you just
it sounded like I was being creepy. Like I'm just. Yeah. There's a lot of young comics in the Lubbock scene. I went and had drinks with one last night who's like a 22-year-old guy who just got engaged. And then I went and had lunch with a 21-year-old guy today. And they're very nice. I like them, but there is like, they will be talking. I'll be like, I can't. There is a lot of emotional development that continues to happen till you're 25. And not to say that emotional development stops, but I feel like 21 to 25 is a huge emotional development age, especially for men. I feel like women mature a little bit more quickly.
Yeah. Says like that's something creepy guys tell me all the time, but I think that is true.
I'm just gonna come across very creepy this episode.
No, it's just like I heard like a woman's basically an adult at 14. I was like, no, not at all. Not true. This is something. No, what you're saying is correct. But I've heard like a slightly different argument coming with like, well, women just mature faster, if you know what.
Yeah, I mean. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's very disgusting. But I have definitely heard that to where. No,
I was like, you have not met any of my sisters. They are not mature at all. But yeah.
Do you want to go to Ask Andy, or do you want to go to a perverted Martha Stewart?
Let's do perverted Martha Stewart, because I actually got something I want to say about that.
Okay. So basically, the headline is Martha Stewart grills her male staff with raunchy hot dog penis jokes. And so I guess she has a TV show on Discovery Plus. And for some reason, she is like, you know what would be a great thing to do is she invites only male staff members to her house, and she grills hot dogs, and she talks about penises a lot. There's even roosters in the episode, and I'm sure she put roosters in the episode so she could say cock as many times as she wanted. So that's the synopsis.
Yeah.
And you seem to have a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have a That's why I'm a cat person, really. Just so I can just talk about cat
Pussy, just yeah.
as much as humanly possible. No, okay. So what something that I miss is the kind of reckless comedy, and something that we may never get back.
I disagree, but okay.
Like I don't know if you miss it or if you disagree whether or not it's coming back, but
no, I think ships right themselves, and I do think I usually lean on the air of more politically correct than I think you probably do with comedy, but I do think it's gone a little overboard, and I think it's gonna kind of whip back. I think that's kind of how it goes. It's like we go through very conservative periods of time and we go through very liberal periods of time, and whips back and forth. I think it'll be the same with this.
Yeah, well, because like my thing was, it was like boiling a frog, and I agree with you that like it's like comedies, like because people are already talking about like the death of comedy and stuff like that. Comedy is always going to come, like comedy's never going to not exist until the robots completely take over. It's going to exist, and in fact, actually, we might be the last one standing when the robots take over, because I don't think that a computer can replace comedy.
I'm sure it will be able to soon. I'm sure it will very soon.
I mean, like it's going to replace truck drivers. It's going to replace doctors. It's going to replace gardeners, everything. But like comedy, I don't know. Memebot 2001, maybe. I don't know.
I think it might. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Or it's going to be so logical. It's going to be like the first ones to go are the comedians, because like it's like, well, we don't logically need these.
Yeah, that's very true. We don't need comedians.
It's like the reason that we can't duplicate it is because it's a useless skill. Kill them first.
That's the one thing I hate about comics. You have a lot of comics who'll be like, well, we're the modern day philosophers, and without us, who's going to speak truth to power? And then they'll go and be like, have you ever came so much? It's like a waterfall. And it's like, what truth to power are you speaking, buddy? Like, how are we taking down the man with our cum waterfalls? Please explain yourself, you self-important piece of shit.
I do agree that we're the modern philosophers, but like I don't think we're the modern philosophers. I think that you can name some comedians that fit there, but like
I used to do slam poetry, and when I did slam poetry, I thought that poets were very important to the world and we needed poets. And then I started doing comedy, and I thought that comics were very important to the world and we needed comedians. Now I'm just like, oh, you just think you're important but like realistically, if you look at yourself, you're just not that important. Or maybe I am, but like the important thing is I teach. We do need teachers.
Yeah. So you are important, but like, yeah, I was the same way when I worked at Walmart. I was like, if I don't stock these shelves, how are people going to eat?
It's just easy. And I agree. There are some comedians who make some great points, and you can make some great points through comedy. But I also think that's dangerous, because then you get a lot of unskilled comedians going on stage. And instead of being fun, like I've been to so many open mics where they'll, especially when Trump was in office, who I did not like Trump, but there were comics who'd be like, Trump sucks. And like people would clap, and I'd be like, this is not comedy. This isn't. You need to have a joke. I'm not mad at you that you don't like Trump. That's fine. I don't like him either. But comedy cannot just become something where you're saying things you believe in. Like, that's something else.
In fact, actually, a lot of my set is just specifically things that I don't think are true.
Yeah.
But like, if I was the idiot that would think this is true, this is what this idiot would think. But
yeah, my favorite thing to do in comedy is to go like, here is something none of y'all are gonna agree with, and I'm gonna argue for it for an hour. I'm gonna, you know what, I think all pugs should die, and then I'm gonna do that for 15 minutes, and hopefully someone laughs. You know,
did I tell you the joke I did on International Women's Day at the Lantern Tavern?
Oh God, is it gonna upset me?
It's gonna upset a lot of people. It upset a lot of people that night.
I'm sure it did.
And I actually got a like these girls, this like whole table of girls, and they were there with their boyfriends, started clapping for me at the beginning of the joke, and I was like, shoot, you're not gonna. So the joke is, I think feminism is the most important thing in our country right now. In fact, I think feminism is so important that I don't think we should let women be in charge of it anymore. Like, get a man in there, get
God.
it done. Need some upper body strength to break that glass ceiling, and then like all of a sudden like they stopped clapping, and then I started getting looks, but their boyfriends all laughed, and then I was like, I'm sorry, I ruined your night, and then the boyfriend's like, you didn't ruin my night, and I was like, you just don't know yet. He just doesn't know yet, guys.
Yeah. It's so weird too, because like I think that joke's funny because one, you don't believe in it. Like the joke is like
the joke's too stupid to be
the joke
taken
is
seriously.
like, here's what a stupid man would think. But it's like the mixture is here's what a stupid man would think, but a stupid man wouldn't think feminism's important. It's confusing and surprising, but it does concern me with jokes like that. I don't know if you've ever had jokes like this where like you do the joke and then you're like, oh, they're probably laughing because they think I'm serious.
Oh yeah, they're like, yeah, and then like Daniel Tosh has a joke where he's like, there's a fine line between like haha and Klan rally.
Yeah. Well, I used to do a joke about terrorist babies. And the joke was like, I went on a date with a girl who talked seriously about terrorist babies. And I was trying to make fun of her. And I was like, we got to get rid of these terrorist babies. Like, I don't know what we have to do. If we have to drop bombs, whatever we have to do, let's get rid of these terrorist babies. And then like I had people come up to me after the show, and I had a guy who was like, we really do need to get rid of those terrorist babies. I appreciated that. And it's just like, oh Jesus Christ.
Now that you're telling me about the joke, I remember that joke.
Yeah, it was in Odessa.
Yeah.
It was at the mall in Odessa, and someone came up to me outside of that shitty bar, and they were like, no, we really do. I'm worried about those terrorist babies.
Well, I had a joke that like I was like I'm half Mexican and half white. So like, you know, it has me confused about the Trump presidency. Like when Trump says he's sending he wants to send all the rapists and thieves back over the border, right? Like as a Mexican, that really offends me. It really does. But as a white person, that seems about right. And most people like get like, he's obviously joking, but there was like one time where a lady also at bar 10 was like, yeah. And I was like,
because here's the thing is racist white people love a person of color who's going to back up their racist beliefs. I mean, that's why like Candace Owens has a career. Because she'll be like, yeah, some black people are scary. And they'll be like, yeah, she said it and she's one of them. And
yeah, but it's Candace Owens says so many dumb things, and she gets I don't know, she gets away with it because like here's another thing is she's also pretty, and I think that helps her get away with a lot of the really dumb things that she says.
She's also pretty, and she also, and this goes back to not true of all of them, but a lot of the people who are very social justice warrior-y are white people sticking up for people who are not their color. So I think she also gets a pass on a lot of the dumb stuff she says, because white people are like, well, I don't like that she said it, but am I going to try to take down a black woman? That seems like what I'm fighting against. And so not to say that, but like that's kind of like a spot to where it's like, well, maybe we should let a black person deal with this instead.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I believe everybody has a right to their opinion and a right to speak their opinion, and then but like when you think their opinion's trash, you'll be like, I gotta say it, but like I gotta say it in a way where here's another question for you. Have you ever been there when like somebody of color makes a racist remark and like you don't want to be like, and then you just accidentally agree with them because like you don't know what to say? Like, I'll give you a for instance.
Okay. Yeah, that'd help.
Okay. So a friend of mine, her and I were talking, and they were talking about another person who is a real close talker. All right. And so she's black. And then they're like, well, it's like, I don't like him. He just talks real close. And then she's like, black dudes be like that. And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wait, I don't even think that's true.
Okay, yeah, I've had stuff like that. I mean, my best. Well, it's also just like weird because there are like some things that you can say like this is true of black people and not of white. I have my best friend is going bald. He's black. I'm obviously going bald, but I saw him for the first time in like a year, maybe a year and a half, the other day for 4th of July, and he had the paint on his head, and I grew up with a lot of black friends, so I started making fun of him because I was just like, oh, like that's like I see what's happening. And my brother, who didn't have as many black friends, like was just like, what are you talking about? And so I explained it. I was like, so like black people, when they go like start losing their hair, like some of them like paint it. And it's not that no white people do this, but it doesn't look as good on white people to paint your hair on.
Yeah, no, I would notice it right away. I didn't know that about. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
I'm learning all this.
My friend told me what it was called, but I already forgot. But it's not like if you're bald, you can paint the whole thing. But like, you know, if you're losing like right here where you're getting a little widow's peak, you can put some like dark paint on it. And if you get real close, it's obvious. But like if you're 5 feet away, like you can't really tell. And so I was trying to explain to my brother, and then I felt racist, but I was like, no, but that's true. Like that is like a mostly black person thing. It's obviously not all black people because not all black people are balding, but like you would notice if I did it because I'm white and it just doesn't work on my skin complexion.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, I mean, like one time I actually had a friend of mine draw me a dick mustache when I felt passed out drunk one time. And it looked fake. It looked super fake.
Yeah.
Like you could tell it wasn't a real dick mustache right away.
Yeah, that's very disappointing. I wish it was the real dick mustache.
I do too. I mean, like
we just skipped over Martha Stewart. Do you want me to explain the story more?
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess explain the story more.
So she invites only male workers, and it's for an episode, and she's grilling them wieners, and then like it kind of devolves into like she is like, well, how many of y'all call your wieners? Like, and then starts asking them, okay, so what do you call your penis? And they answer, and like I just read it, I didn't watch the video, but this is saying like they answered, but they felt like they seemed uncomfortable, they were stuttering, you know, but like dick, cock came out. She talks about how she doesn't like schlong. Then she brings out a 6-foot hot dog and talks about like, is this the biggest wiener you've ever seen? And so it's just like her making dick jokes. It was Martha Stewart being like, you know what I really want to do is I want to make some dick jokes.
Yeah. And something about Martha Stewart making dick jokes just makes it funnier.
Yeah, well, Martha Stewart became cool at some point.
She went to prison.
Well, she went to prison, then she got out, and like Snoop Dogg started hanging out with. She hangs out with Snoop Dogg all the time now. Like there's even a mention of Snoop Dogg in this episode to where she like had a hot dog and was like this dog's for you, Snoop, or something like that. But like her and Snoop Dogg
was it a bigger one?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the 6-foot one. And so like Martha Stewart became cool, or like I think Martha Stewart has learned like I look like a very innocent white lady. And so that way, if I'm hanging out with Snoop Dogg, it's kind of funny. Or if I'm making dick jokes, it's funnier than someone else making them because I look like your mom, basically.
Yeah. That's where it's funny. But the only thing is I was like, I can imagine this story being like way different if it's like Guy Fieri or like I can't think of like Anthony Bourdain is also a bad example.
It would be a very good story if it was Anthony Bourdain, because that would mean he came back from the dead. It'd be sexually harassed coworkers.
If this was a story, then like I was like, you guys are burying the lead. Wait a minute, 1 second. Anthony Bourdain? But no,
well, what would it be if you're a male? Let's say I'm a famous male chef and I invite only females. What would
taco night?
Okay. I knew there was some food I was not thinking of.
Yeah.
But it'd be taco night and no one would like it. Nobody.
Yeah, like that would be a much different article. So like, can you believe the nerve of Corey Evans, who invited almost all his female staff and his friends with all the cats,
called their taco, And yeah,
Yeah,
it would.
it's an unfair double standard.
I kind of get the double standard. Like
I
I
get
do get it's a double standard, but it's also like most dudes like this is also like someone's gonna be like, yeah, it does happen, but like the likelihood of me getting raped as a man is very low. And even then, the likelihood of me getting raped by a man is still like it's very possibly going to be a man who does it. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, females, women don't sexually rape people as much as men do.
As much.
Yeah. Not saying it never happens, but statistically, there's a big statistical difference there.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the reason. I think the reasoning might be more like it's kind of how do you say it, like it's gender roles, like traditional gender roles, like men, like if you make a man uncomfortable, it's easier for a dude to just roll out of there than
to be like, you made me uncomfortable, I don't want to do this anymore. It's easier just socially. Like I think men are taught that more than women, to be like, speak up, be a man. Don't, if you don't want like something, you say it. To where women are just kind of like, well, you just let it happen. Like,
and that's something that I do, that I'm very happy that like is kind of being like, I guess like as best efforts being like kind of like taught out a little bit. Yeah. Like speak up for yourself.
Well, there's also just like biologically, and there are women who can kick my ass, but biologically, a man versus a woman, if that's all you know about the fight, a man is going to fight a woman.
Yeah.
You're going to bet on the man. Like, I mean, I'm not great at fighting, but I will kick Martha Stewart's ass. Or maybe not anymore, but before she goes to jail, for sure, I could kick her ass. Now, maybe she's learned some shit.
Well, like make sure she's not palming anything.
Yeah.
Like don't, like if her hand's rolling up like this, you're like, all right, something's in that. Gotta watch for foreign objects.
Well, and the thing is, like, it's kind of not a fun topic to talk about, but it is something I think you should be aware of as a dude. I think a lot of dudes don't realize that. It's like you're scarier than women are to you, because most of the women you meet, you could physically beat in a fight.
Yeah, well, that's a different type of scary, but yeah, because like when men say that they're scared of women, they're scared of like being what?
Of like rejection.
Rejection or embarrassment. Yeah. Where women are actually scared of
that you might kill them.
Yeah, getting killed or hurt, something like that. Like and then so I was actually having this argument with a girl, and the girl was like, well, Ronda Rousey. And I was like, yeah, okay. There are some subsect.
There are hundreds, thousands, tens thousands. Like there are a lot of women who can kick my ass. I'm not saying there are not.
Yeah.
But
and for me right now, probably a few more. Yeah. Any woman that can jog can beat me right now.
Yeah. Anyone who can just breathe properly gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah. But I'm getting there, ladies. I'm getting there.
He's gonna be whooping your ass soon.
Yeah. I'm gonna be back. I'm getting back in the game.
So, how about we do an Ask Andy and then one more?
Yeah. We'll get to the Ask Andy.
All okay. Right. So it's Ask Amy, but we call it Ask Andy, so I'm going to change it. Dear Andy, even though the world is opening up again, I'm still more comfortable meeting people online before meeting them in person. I'm an anxious introvert and pursue connections with people who make me feel something. I recently connected with a guy who shares some of my values, and we had a date planned for tomorrow. The problem? He's too nice. I know most people would do anything for that, but some of his niceness rubs me the wrong way. I'm not super attracted to his photos, and I'm repulsed by the sound of his voice. I gave him an out with a vague explanation to be as kind as possible. He doesn't seem like someone who would make he does seem like someone who would make a good friend, but I don't want to take advantage of him. Was I wrong to make that choice before meeting in person? Am I not broadening my horizons as he suggests? And so the question is basically like, she's like, I met this guy on an online dating app. I don't like the fact that she threw in he's too nice in there. But her three complaints are, he's too nice. I'm not attracted to his photos, which means I'm not attracted to the way he looks, and I'm repulsed by the sound of his voice. And she's saying, was it wrong of me to cancel the date before actually meeting in person?
Let me just real check. Is this girl's name Jessica? No.
It was Jessica. She's talking about you, Andrew.
Son of a gun.
Your voice is very repulsive.
See, I had a hole in it, guys, and I'm gonna be, and I seem nice, but that's just because I have to be, because I'm weak. When I get my muscles back, no.
For those of you who don't know, Andrew got in a bar fight right at the beginning of the pandemic because he was wearing a mask and someone else would not put on their mask, and Andrew punched them, and then he got stabbed repeatedly by 7 or 8 guys.
Could have been 30, really.
Yeah, I think this happened in Corpus Christi. They had a small story, but they didn't cover it very much. It's hard to find, but if I can find it, I'll put it in the show notes. But they actually punctured both of his lungs, and so Andrew had to get lung transplants. So that's why you're hearing about he had a hole in his throat and stuff like that, is he spent a long time in the hospital and had to get lung transplants.
Yeah.
I like listeners to know, because some of new listeners don't know the struggle you just went through after getting your ass kicked in a bar. So
yeah, all ladies, by the way, because I'm progressive like that.
All women. It was all women, but they carried knives. It was actually, the bar was called Women with Knives, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't know if I should have been there, really. And I think one of them also like heard some of my set from earlier. And
I mean, to be fair, he it's his fault. He deserved it. No one felt bad for him.
Yeah, no, I had it coming.
All right, so this woman has been talking to this guy online, says he's too nice, she's not attracted to him, and his voice repulses her. Should she feel bad about canceling the date?
I'm not going to tell you how to feel, but
should she have gone on the date and given him a chance?
No, because you're just wasting the dude's time.
Yeah, I'm glad we are on the same page with it. My thing is, it's just like, you are not attracted to him.
Yeah.
And that's just like, don't go on dates with people you wouldn't fuck. And that's not me saying that dating is about fucking, but like, that is a part of a romantic relationship for 99.9% of the country who's not asexual.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not the whole pencil, but it's the point.
But yeah, and it's a big part, I think. It's
it might be the most important part for some people.
Like, it's an important part, because at that point, like, I've got friends.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to hang out with someone who makes me laugh that I can't have sex with, I'll hang out with Andrew. And honestly, the can't have sex with is just a medical concern right now. Later, that might open up.
Exactly. I mean, like, well, let's be honest. I'm just a little anemic right now. Like, the time is coming.
But even like super religious people, eventually, like, if people who don't have sex before marriage, and that's a whole thing on its own, but if that's your deal, you still are gonna have sex when you get married. Like, that's part of it. You should be sexually attracted to somebody.
Yeah. And I'm somebody that doesn't try to make decisions too hasty on people. But if you've already made your decision, like, all you're doing is wasting the dude's time and potentially wasting his money, because most dudes, especially a dude that's too nice, is paying for the first date, probably.
Yeah, and the other thing is, here's the thing, is like, people's attractiveness changes based on how well you know them. Like, there was a study done about this, is when you see somebody and you've never met them, you can assign them a number. Let's say they're a 7. And after meeting them for 10 to 15 minutes, like, talking to them for 10 to 15 minutes, the number almost always changes. Either it goes down and you go, I thought they were a 7, actually they're like a 5. Or I thought they were a 7, but they're like a 9. And so I'm not saying that it's impossible to meet someone and get more attracted to them. But from the way she's describing it, it's like she thinks he's a 2. There's no personality brings you from a 2 to an 8. Like, it's just, you're not attracted to him, and that's fine. I think that's a weird thing with women too. We've been talking about a lot about women or men, but I think women are taught and understand that you can be super nice and super funny and like a lot of fun, but if a dude's not sexually attracted to you, it's not going to work out. And I think women know that, to whereas I think men have kind of and like been taught, not like we sat down and had a lesson, but like with movies and like having like Kevin James married to a super hot woman on King of Queens and stuff like that. I think men have been taught like you don't have to be attractive to this person if you're funny or nice or rich or any of those things. But like the bottom line is women are sexually attracted to people too. And if they're not sexually attracted to you, they don't want to have sex with you,
Yeah,
no matter
women
how
get
funny you
boners
are.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
women get boners too.
And
Hashtag women get boners too. I want to start that hashtag. We'll do it.
Yeah. I'm making us a Twitter page and I'll tweet that out.
Okay, women get first tweet, please.
Yes. After we exist, comedically correct, women's get boners too. And then they'll have to ask.
Yeah.
Like, well, now I gotta listen to this shit. Yeah, my whole thought on it is, although you probably came to the decision hastily, it's go with your gut. Like,
Yeah.
there's plenty of fish in the sea. If you're honest with them and say, hey, maybe I want to be a friend, like, I don't, it sucks being friend zoned though. Like, if you want a romantic relationship and then like somebody just wants to be your friend, I dealt with that. Like that's something that I've grown out of, is
Yeah.
being friend zoned with women. Is like, unless like I want to be their friend, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not
Yeah,
standing for this.
but that's an emotional thing. Is one, I think I would love to be friends with you. You feel like you're numbing the blow. So I'm not saying you can't say that, but don't say that if you don't actually want to be friends with them. But two, I think men need to be very comfortable. And I've gotten like this. I mean, it hasn't happened for a while because I've been in a pretty steady relationship. But I've had like people break up with me and be like, hey, we can still be friends. And I'll be like, no, we can't. Like, I don't want to be your friend. Like, and it's not, and that sounds so mean, but it's like, you know, like I was in love with you romantically and I can't just be your friend now. Like, because friends tell you about their dates. Like, and no matter how, like, I was very much in love with you and I don't want to hear about how your date went. And
Yeah.
so it's not fair for me to be your friend at this point.
Yeah, you know, the guy that wasn't you, he got me
Yeah.
flowers. And then like, or when like you tell them like all the shitty things about the dude and you're like, yeah, I would never do that to you.
Yeah. And it's hard not to do that, but I think that's an emotional, like talking about growing up emotionally is like, that was like when I was younger, probably 22, 23, that happened. And the girl was like, yeah, we can still be friends. And I tried to still be friends with her. And like, since then I've had the same situation where it's like, well, let's still be friends. And I was like, I don't want to be your friend. And I know that sounds shitty. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't dislike you, but I don't want to be your friend.
When I say let's still be friends, or when I hear that, what I think that means now, because when I was younger, I was like, oh, we're still gonna hang out. Like now, what I think that means is let's not say fuck you if we happen to see each other at the bar.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Then maybe I'm just being a dick. Maybe I'm being a huge asshole.
Yeah, it was like, let's just not get in a weird thing when we see each other. Be like, hey, you backstabbing hoe.
But see, at that point, I'd be like, hey, this isn't going to work out. I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're a great person. It's just not going to work out. I have nothing bad to say about you, but I don't think we should be dating anymore.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still sucks. Like breakups,
it's harder
breakups and rejection always hurt. Like it always sucks. Even, you know what? You want to hear something fucked up? I don't know if I told you this, but before I had my incident, I was texting a girl, and I kind of liked her, and I think that she thought I ghosted her when I went to the hospital. I couldn't, and my cell phone died, and like I lost contact with everybody for however many months before I got my cell phone back working. So, but when I started talking to her again, I was like, well, I'm not looking for anything. In fact, actually, I don't think I can handle something right now. But you know, if you still want to chat and be friends, I enjoyed our conversations. And I think that she said, okay. And then she rejected me. Like I kind of told her, I was like, I'm not looking for anything right now. And then all of a sudden, like she has this thing saying like, hey, well, I don't want a relationship. And I was like, wait, am I getting rejected? Like I thought what? And so like, I don't know, it still bothered me. I still felt like I was being rejected, even though it was somebody that I already said like, hey, I don't think this is going to be a thing to.
Yeah, I think that's a defense mechanism. I've seen that happen, not with me, but like I've seen like internet posts, but like where people will be like, yeah, I don't think it's going to work, and they're going to be like, you're ugly anyway. Like, and it's just like, you're just trying to defend your ego.
It's like, I was going to break up with you anyway. I just
Uh-huh.
felt sorry for you. And you're like, all right, make me feel bad too. Like only
Well,
one of us had to feel bad. And now
I
both of us
remember
feel bad.
Yeah, I remember being in high school and like that was a big thing is if you learned you were going to get broken up with, you tried to break up with them first.
Dude, I am the opposite. I want them to break up with me because that means that like
They're
I
the
don't have
mean.
I don't have any guilt with trying to talk to other chicks right away.
See, I knew a lot of people who were like, well, I broke up with her because so and so told me that she was going to break up with me. And I think I don't know if I ever did that, but I know there were some times where it's like so and so might I don't even know if it was rumors or just like I got the feeling where it's not that I want to break up with them, but it's I feel like they might be breaking up with me soon. And so I'm going to go ahead and break up with them. Once again, being young in high school, stupid, and being scared of my ego
Yeah. Well,
being damaged.
see, that's where that too nice thing comes in. Like it, like relationships, specifically for younger women, couples. I almost said women, but like for younger couples, you need drama in there for it to not be boring.
Yeah.
So sometimes like if you think like or you suspect your girl's about to break up with you, a way to save the relationship is just start shit for no reason. I'm not joking, like because the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. Like if she's just bored with you, that's way worse
Then
than having a
apathy.
girl
Yeah.
hate you. In fact, the
Yeah.
line between love and hate is so thin that sometimes like if getting a girl to hate you is almost like getting them to fall in love with you. In fact, I have a secret. For $10.99, I'll tell you now. I'll just tell you right now. If sometimes if I'll get a girl to start like fucking despising me, and then I'll turn on a nice guy routine, and then she'll be like, oh, he is a nice guy, but she already hated me, so that emotion, that strong emotion is there, and she's like, that must be love.
Andrew is single. I feel like this is very important to point out. He's talking. You're reminding me of those like Facebook commercials where it's like a dude's like, and this technique is how I slept with 25 women in a year. It's like Andrew is single and got stabbed by 7 women recently.
Yeah.
7 or 8 women. So I don't know if you should take his advice.
One time I think I was so annoying that one of my nurses just didn't help me get off a toilet once. she was so annoyed by me that I was like, I really need to get off this toilet. And she's like, well, your blood pressure's too high. And I was like, no, it's not. It's fine. And then she started arguing with me and she's like, well, now your blood pressure's too high. And I was like, you bitch.
Well, maybe she's just trying to make you hate her so she can be nice to you later and then you fall in love with her.
Oh, you know what?
That's what it was.
That makes more sense. Looking at my face right now, that makes more sense.
Yeah. You do look good. You are looking good. If you're listening to this, you need to get on YouTube. He sounds awful still, but he's looking good. The beard's coming in.
Oh yeah.
Eyes full of life. Can't even see the stab wounds. I'm impressed. Well,
You
never
see some of
mind.
them.
Yeah, never mind. You can see most of the stab wounds, but some people are into that.
Yeah, I'm like, chicks dig scars.
Um,
my nurse today told me that I was handsome. I went to the doctor for some routine tests and stuff like that, and she told me, she's like, "Aren't you a handsome young man?" And then I was like, "Thank you." And like, it just felt nice. I was
yeah,
like,
that is nice.
ah.
That's
Like,
when people call me honey. Like,
oh yeah,
if I'm at like a supermarket and people call me honey, that's very nice. Or if like an older Hispanic lady calls me mijo, that really gets me going. Not sexually, just emotionally.
yeah,
It turns me on emotionally.
yeah. It makes me feel wanted. Yeah. Well, that's like another thing. Is like something about like old people, like they'll say stuff that's like kind of sexual harassment. You're like, oh, I would take you home and bake you into a cake, but you're just like, all right.
Yeah, definitely something you can't say to someone who might actually fuck you. You can't.
Yeah. like somebody that could physically like fight you into their car trunk or whatever. They're
Yeah.
like, it's like, hey, you look so sweet, I could take you home and bake you into a cake. Like,
Yeah, can't do that.
but when it's like
Not
a
a good
sweet old
pickup
lady,
line.
say whatever she wants, and you're like, ah,
But for
bless her heart.
$10.99, you can get Andrew's How to Pick Up Ladies master class. If you do it by the end of the day, we'll drop the price to $5.99 and send you a what's that thing called? You put your penis in it, not a
Cock bump?
fleshlight. We'll call you a
Fleshlight.
fleshlight
Yeah.
because his routine is not going to work, but you can still come.
Yeah, like, I'll send you some links. So one way or other, you will get off with Andrew Caven. But a real giveaway that we have is this, and I forgot to mention it last week. I finally came in. This is And That. So over any of our shows, any of the shows on YouTube or anywhere, like, comment, share. You don't have to share because we can't tell, but if you do want to share, that would help us out greatly. Like, comment, subscribe. And one of our very lucky people, in fact, actually, my favorite troll comment will also get one. So my favorite troll comment and one other random one will get one of these, and the other random one will also get this little bottle of alcohol.
It's an old smoky moonshine bottle of alcohol. It tastes like gasoline. I was given 6 of these by a coworker, and they said we couldn't finish them. And I judged them because I was like, I can drink anything. And that was almost a year ago, and I still have not been able to finish 6 bottles. So I will gladly give this bottle away because it is disgusting. Yeah. But it'll get you there. It will get you there. If you're a raging alcoholic, this is the gift for you.
Yeah. And if you're just a weirdo, this is the gift for you.
Exactly.
It is a troll doll from when they were trying to market trolls to boys from the Stone Protectors in the 90s. It was one of the coolest shows that only lasted like 15 episodes. And this is actually one of their figurines. I got a few. So you get one of those figurines. But it's going to be favorite troll comment as well. Don't just put "you guys suck." It has to be something clever.
Be clever. We know we suck.
Yeah, like, you don't need to tell us. My mom tells us all the time.
Yeah, we're trying to get people to comment on stuff by giving them alcohol and trolls because we suck. Yeah. Be creative.
Be creative.
Look at our faces. Make someone cry.
I cry a lot now.
I do too, but that I don't have a reason to. It's just I think my testosterone's dropping.
Sometimes I get pancakes instead of waffles.
Right. Okay, we've got 3 stories, but we're only going to do one. So I'm going to leave this to you.
Okay.
We can either do the true detective guy who hates Black Widow. We can do pedophile baiting, which is a little, dicey. Or we can do the man who was selling duct taped iguanas.
I don't know at all about that story. I
added it. True Detective?
Well, the True Detective one is Shut Up, Stephen Dorff.
So we'll do 2. We'll do True Detective. He doesn't like Marvel movies and said Scarlett Johansson should be embarrassed. I don't even know who he is. Isn't he from the bad season of True Detective?
No, he's from the third he's from the 3rd season of True Detective.
Okay.
Which is the okay season.
Yeah, so you're not even from the good season. Scarlett Johansson makes 1,000 times more money than you, and people know her name. No one knows your name, Stephen Dorff. I learned it today.
I knew your name for a long time because I knew you were in a Marvel movie, Blade, you dumbass. He was the bad guy in Blade.
Fuck.
A Marvel movie.
Fuck. Come fight us, Stephen Dorff. We don't give a shit.
And don't say you should feel embarrassed for doing those movies when you did feargoddamn.com. Fear.com. Don't watch that movie. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he should be embarrassed about the person he is.
Yeah.
So we covered True Detective guy. I think we should do iguanas. I kind of want to end on a less weird note.
All right. Duct tape iguanas. Tell me the story.
Man arrested after police say he tried to sell duct taped iguanas from SUV. And I will tell you, this did not take place in Florida. That was my first thought. I'll
Mine
let
too.
I'll let you guess the state. I don't think you'll get it. It's not a state that you typically think is going to be weird.
I would guess a southern state because of all the
Yes.
iguana problem that they have. It's invasive species like Mississippi or
No.
Tennessee,
Georgia.
Georgia.
We're in Georgia, Gwinnett County, Georgia. A Gwinnett County man has been arrested after police say he bound nearly 24 iguanas with duct tape and tried to sell them out of his SUV. So he owns a pet store, which is more frustrating because you should know. You should know you can't do that. But he owns a pet store, and then he wrapped iguanas in duct tape and tried to sell them like he was some kind of ice cream iguana truck. And he got arrested for animal cruelty.
So, wait, was he selling them to eat them?
No. I think he was selling them. Mendez, who owns a pet shop in the area, told police he didn't think he was doing anything wrong despite the condition of the animals. So he had them like tied up in duct tape, but it caused some of them to die. And just in general, I thought it was just the duct tape. You're just not allowed to purchase or sell iguanas in Georgia. So he like doubled down on his breaking the law. So he caught 22 iguanas in Miami, and he was trying to sell the animals for $10 a piece from the back of his SUV. 22 misdemeanors for animal cruelty because he had 22 iguanas.
Yeah.
And they let him go on bond.
So, okay, I have a few questions because I know that iguanas are a huge problem in some of the southern states because they're an invasive species.
Yes.
And the winters haven't been cold enough to kill most of them off. So now they're like reproducing like crazy.
Uh-huh.
So now like their iguana problem is like New York's rat problem. Like they just have iguanas everywhere.
And iguanas are scarier. They'll just like slap you in the face with their tail.
Yeah, they're small dragons.
Yeah, they are dinosaurs. And that is why it is illegal in Georgia, because it's an invasive species. So you're not allowed to sell it. So he broke the law on that. And then on top of it, he was trying to do some BDSM with them, I guess. He would have them duct taped up. But he was trying to sell them as pets. So he wasn't trying to get anyone to like eat them or anything.
Well, they do sell iguana meat now. Like they eat them.
Do they? Okay. Yeah. In southern states?
In Florida. Well, in Florida, okay. They do a lot of odd shit in Florida. So I don't know if it's normal elsewhere when they say they do it in Florida. Like I just saw a thing in Florida about like the iguana problem, and they're like saying like where the best meat is to eat the iguana, and I was like, oh, they're eating them too.
That's one way to solve a problem. Eat your problems away.
Yeah, well, they actually have regulations on how you can kill the iguanas. So, like you can poison them, and you can shoot them with a BB gun, but like if you catch them, right, you have to get them like super, like you can't just kill them if you catch them. You have to like freeze them so they don't feel any pain when you kill them.
Except freezing to death?
No, iguanas, they're cold-blooded, so they just kind of go into like a weird hibernation.
Oh. But you can shoot them with a BB gun, which I feel like would be painful.
Yeah, there's not a lot of ways you can kill things without pain.
Feeling pain. I feel like pain is a big part of death.
Yeah, like as far as like the last moment, you're like, that didn't feel good.
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, why can't you chop their heads off? I feel like that's a pretty quick death too.
You can if they're cold.
If they're cold, shit, you can do anything to an iguana if it's cold. Yeah, like you got to take its temperature. If it is above 75 degrees, you can't do anything to that iguana. If it's 74, you can fuck that iguana if you want to. No one cares. They can't.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they care about that. It's the weirdest thing. Like if you have a goat, like Michael Che has a great bit about this. If you have a goat, you can eat that goat, not breaking any laws. But if you fuck that goat, you're going to prison. But if you were to ask the goat what he prefers to have happen to him, I'm sure like 99 out of 100 would be like, I don't want to get eaten.
What are we allowed to do old stories on here? Because there's a pretty old one, 3 or 4, maybe 3 years, 2 years. It had to be 2 because I did it while I was in Houston. I did a news show but it's about Alabama. And this happened 2 years ago. Alabama finally outlawed bestiality, and they outlawed bestiality with a 7-2 vote. So
Finally.
So
I like how it's finally, and it still wasn't unanimous.
And it was just like those two dudes were just like, yeah, so you know, this is America. You get to fuck your dogs if you want.
Yeah, like America. Fuck yeah. Bear comes onto my property. He tried to keep my children. He getting fucked.
I don't think people would be as mad about someone fucking a bear. I can't explain that, but I feel like people would not be as upset.
Well, like, I don't think that you, like, I think that they know that it had to have been consensual, because otherwise the bear wouldn't stand for it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like,
it had to be consensual and good if I made it through.
Yeah, like if you start and the bear didn't kill you, the entire, like, the bear's actively not killing you the whole
This is
time.
going to be the episode that does it for us. This will be the episode that gets us fired. And we talked about trying not to have that happen.
I'll put in the description. Please don't cancel us. People will take pity.
That might be a good way to get people to listen. Actually,
yeah, it's like, sorry about. I do want to write like a catch-all apology letter early on in my career.
Okay, I like that.
You know, like, hey guys, I know some things aren't funny. You know, the old adage, comedy plus time, comedy or tragedy plus time equals comedy, and I just got the equation wrong. You know,
I think that's a good idea. Since speaking of comedy, we are going to move on to our comedy segment because I have to go pick up a friend and go do some comedy tonight.
Okay.
So
it's his friend.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on comedy classes because I've heard a lot of thoughts on comedy classes, and basically the question: if you're not good at comedy, can you learn to be good at comedy?
I want to say that it's a natural talent that it's like a tool that you can sharpen. But if you're not born with that stick, it's really hard to like get it later on in life.
I think I kind of agree with you, but I think it's not as big. I think there are people who are like, well, you have to be funny already. I think most people are funny. And I think almost anyone who wants to do comedy probably is at least a little bit funny. And so I do think you can learn to be better at that and work hard and figure out some formulas and study it. I mean, like, it kind of goes back to the machines is, can we break down comedy in such a way that one day AI could replace comedians? And I kind of think we could eventually.
I think comedy is going to be the hardest thing to duplicate.
Oh, I think it'll be very difficult. Do you have thoughts on comedy classes? Because I know a lot of comedians hate them.
I think that if you look at it, like, life is a class in comedy. It's just how you look at life. And that's kind of what comedy comes from, is like you're looking at life kind of wrong or almost incorrectly. And that's kind of where comedy comes from. Or you're finding something new about it. Like, you're saying things that like people are already thinking. But yes, I think that you can learn to be funnier, but like you have to already be funny. Like, there are some people that just don't have, like, I've met so many people in my life that just don't have a sense of humor, and there's nothing you can do. Like you can teach people to sing better, but if you don't have at least a little bit of natural talent, you're not really going anywhere.
Well, and it's just like, so the arguments I've heard is people say you can't teach comedy. My big argument against comedy classes, and I'm not saying I'm anti-comedy classes, but I do think I saw this a lot in Chicago, is some comedy classes kind of pitch you the idea of, you're going to take this comedy class for 12 weeks and you're going to pay $1,500. And at the end of it, you're going to be hilarious and basically on your way to SNL. And like, I saw so many people. In fact, one of my friends in Chicago he paid tons of money to go to Second City and take their comedy classes. And they don't go out to open mics. They advise you not to go out to open mics while you're in the class. And then, so he went through the program, paid a lot of money, then came out and started doing open mics and was not doing well because you're not good after 12 weeks, especially if you've only done it once every week for 12 weeks. And then he was bombing. And then there was one time he was like, I'm classically trained. I'm a classically trained comedian. And that was the first time I laughed at anything he said on stage. But but it does bum me out because I think it gives people the wrong idea. But comedy classes in general, like I'm thinking about doing a free one in Lubbock and like not stealing people's money and not trying like just being like, this isn't going to necessarily make
it funny.
You
said $1,500, I was like, I'm going to start a comedy class.
Yeah, no. Well, and like the other complaint is a lot of times it's being taught by someone who didn't make it in comedy, which is true. Like,
oh yeah. I've
Bill
never had a
Burr is
baseball
not-
coach that was a professional baseball player though.
Yeah. And so I think it's got some points to it. But then like you also have like there are universities that do 4-year stand-up comedy degrees and stuff like that.
The fuck?
They're maybe not stand-up, but they do comedy degrees. I like know friends who have a bachelor's in comedy.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
There's most 4-year college students. Like, okay, maybe not most, but there's plenty of 4-year college students that I know more about comedy than. And I'm sure that one of them that has this degree, I know more about comedy than. At least one.
My thing is you should not be allowed to start that degree until you're 22. Because like an 18-year-old being like, I'm gonna get my bachelor's in comedy. I'm like, kid, don't do it. Get your bachelor and go to work. Like, don't go to college. I'd rather you not go to college than get a degree in comedy. Like
what? Like, just stay home and watch like Abbott and Costello and Modern Family, and that's your work.
Yeah, you're good.
You'll learn the same amount.
Well, and that's like I had friends and they're like, so my assignment for tonight is to watch Airplane. And it's like, okay, dude, shut up. Like, fuck you. Don't act like, I got a lot of work to do. Blazing Saddles by Tuesday. Fuck you. You're not, your parents are disappointed. Your parents are so mad at you.
Here's the thing is, and this is supposedly said by Mark Twain. I'm not entirely sure that he actually says that, but explaining a joke is like dissecting a frog, in that you learn a lot, but you kill the frog.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I get from like comedy classes too. I can explain a joke. In fact, actually, I was just telling you about this lady who I was trying to tell her jokes. Very sweet lady. She lives in the building, and very, 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 very sweet lady. Let me say that before I say something kind of mean. Does not understand humor.
Yeah.
I was telling her the joke about the black people meet, and she's like, that's just like you're always gonna get the wrong results if you plug in the wrong word. She's like, that's the internet for you. It doesn't know what you mean. It only knows what you write. And I was like, yeah, but you get what the joke is, right?
Yeah, that's the joke.
That's the joke. Like, and so sometimes like people would just like kind of explain like your joke to you. Like,
yeah,
be like, that's not what a cougar is. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. By cougar, they mean older ladies who like to have sex with men, not cats. And you're like, yes, I know what they mean.
That's the joke. You get the joke, and they're like, yeah, so that's why they didn't get it. Like you said the wrong cougar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's like that was the joke.
Yeah. And it was like they laughed. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, I heard some people laugh, but you know.
Yeah. People are just dicks.
Like, no, like she genuinely like was trying to help me. She's like, let me help you out. And
I don't like audience help. That's the other thing is like I will do a show and do very well on it. That's not every show. I'm not saying every show I do.
Yeah.
But I'll do a show, do very well, and then someone who's never stepped foot on stage will be like, you know what you should do with that joke? Is you should talk about your dick. And it's like, nah, look, I got it. I'm good. I got it. You just see, I did well. Like, you want to go? You go do the joke again. I'll get everyone back in here. You do the joke, but you do it the way you think I should have done it.
Dude, I've gotten so much unsolicited like advice, and I was like, did I really do that bad? That like this guy thinks that he can tell me how to do it. Like that's what I feel. It's like that guy did not enjoy my set. He's like, well, you should just try being funnier. I didn't laugh at any of that.
That's because people think they're funny when like they might be, but they're not comedy. They're not a comedian funny. It's a different kind of funny. Like they'll be like, nah, I made my friend spit milk out of his nose. And it's like, yeah, because you let like someone kick you in the balls. Like I can't really do that every night on stage. I mean, I could. That's how Jackass was made, but
I mean, like if it works, it works. I mean, like the audience is right. The audience is always right. Well, and then like the last point I'll make on it is like you can't buy your way into like I think that that's probably why more comedians don't like it is like the idea that somebody can buy something that like you feel like is like a gift almost. It's like a gift, right? Like you can't like there's people that like you can learn to run, but then there's people that are just fast.
yeah. But but the thing is, if you really think it's a gift and you can't buy it, it shouldn't bother you because they're not going to catch you then. Like
no, but like it bothers me if like people tell me stuff. Like I'm very careful.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very careful to not tell people, like, even if I notice like a glaring mistake that I think someone's making. Well, like very rarely. Maybe if like they're a new comedian and I think it's like pretty bad.
Yeah.
But even then, like I'm very careful not to tell them that they're doing something wrong because like I hate it when people do that to me.
Yeah. But I do have to get going. I've got to
Yes.
pick up a comic and go to an open mic.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Say something funny and give me credit for it. Nah.
I will go up as Andrew Holiday tonight. I will do it.
That would, dude, that would make me feel good. I wanted to go to an open mic. I was like, I'm gonna try to go to an open mic, and my mom's like, no. She's like, tell jokes to the people around here, and I was like, didn't you see what happened?
Yeah.
All right. So remember, everybody, giveaway, like, share, subscribe, comment, favorite troll stuff, free stuff, and yes. My name is Drew Holiday.
I'm Corey Evans.
This has been Comedically Correct, and we are sorry for wasting your time. Thanks, and have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.